Yeah, hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we'll discuss more on understanding the application architecture and target architecture, then DevOps and AWS architecture, then actual workflow of this application, then implementation demo. So till now we have completed the blueprint review. So we have discussed about the blueprint, what are the things it having. So let's recap on this one. We having the uh, version control of this blueprint, and we have in the introduction we have a summary of this application. We have the existing server details and target server details. We having the upstream job details, and we have the downstream dependency details. We have discussed about current application architecture, and we have discussed about the application architecture, and we have discussed about the source server relation details and metrics. And also we have discussed about the target analysis, and we have discussed more about database backups and database details and cluster details and database migration details. And we have discussed about the target application architecture. Also, we have discussed about the DevOps architecture, and we have discussed about AWS architecture. And finally, we need to review your vulnerabilities, and we need to take this all consider. This is the final step of a blueprint. So next, going forward, we need to understand more on application architecture. Okay. So this is the application. We having the main application, we having the API application. So when the in the main application, when they will hit the slash valid, so this main application is the backend they have written HTTP request. This HTTP request forwarding this request to API. Okay, this passport verification API, it's going to passport verification API. In the passport verification API, once the verification is done, so then it will be going to two decisions. If it is a password verification is done, then it will go to password create. Once password create that API is responded, then it will go to user data is going to store in a database, and it will be reflect in the user face. Okay, if the password creation is not happened, then it will go first to the password verification API. So in the password verification, again it will be validated. If it is not validated, then it will be going to another API. It is having the cancel user creation API. Okay. So then the front end it will showing some different. You are not able to create a user. You are not able to validate the password. This is the This is the application architecture. Okay. Then we need to understand the target architecture. We have already seen the source architecture, traditional architecture, right? Now we are going to understand this target architecture. Okay, sorry. Mm, just one second. So this is the target architecture. So user is trying to access upskilldevops.com. Then it will be carry forwarding to the public API. Then the public gateway is integrated with ROSA cluster, ROSA NLB. This ROSA NLB is integrated with a target group. This target group is having a VPC endpoints of your ROSA clusters. Okay, this is the one cluster. This is the one cluster. In this cluster, there is having the ROSA ROSA cluster. We having the namespace, we having the pod. So we are going to deploy this all the things via GitLab CI. Okay. So let's discuss more on DevOps architecture. Okay. So let's see. So first of all, we need to develop our code in a Visual Studio. Okay. So before that, we need to. Is there any? Okay. Yeah. The both are same slides. So first of all, you need to understand how we need to design our pipelines. Okay, how we need to how the workflow is happen. Okay, So first of all, you need to install the Visual Studio in your local, and we need to install some plugins like JDK, Maven, Tomcat. Okay. After installing, you need to create with the help of a Java project. You need to create a Spring Boot Java application. You need to write SRC folder. We need to write test cases. You need to write the mm, you need to write the IAC folder. Okay. So after writing, you need to write the pipelines. After writing, you need to push the changes to the GitLab. Okay, in the GitLab, we need to before that we need to create a GitLab project, GitLab group, all things we need to create. So after pushing to the GitLab repo, it will store in a remote location of GitLab. Okay, there it will having src, IAC folder, pipelines, Docker file, etc. All the things it is having. Okay, so when we are trying to trigger the pipelines, so it will be triggered the based upon rules set by us in the pipeline. Okay, let's see what are the rules we are going to set. We are setting rules for CI pipeline, CD pipeline, and infra pipelines. These rules we are going to discuss in coming forward. Well, after creating the pipelines, we can check these pipelines. Okay, the CI pipeline, you just in the CA pipeline, we are going to build our application. Then we need to create a Docker image. You need to tag the Docker image. Then push your Docker image to a Quay registry. Okay. In the CD pipeline, so it will the CD pipeline we have in the two steps. One is helm validation. Other one is helm deploy. The helm validation, it will validate the helm repo which you already created in your local Visual Studio. So after helm validating, then you need to deploy helm package to ROSA cluster. So whenever you are deploying the ROSA cluster, it will pull the latest image from Q registry. It will deploy in the ROSA dev cluster. Okay. So once you have freezed all the things, then there is a GRC approval is happening for this dev account. Then you are moving for SAS dashed report submit to the GRC team. Once they will approve, then we are moving this ROSA dev cluster to ROSA SI and ROSA prod cluster. Once again, the same image is deployed in SI. Then same they will have, once GRC is approval the same thing. Then we need to deploy to the prod environment. Okay. Once the prod deployment is completed, then it will go to the customer consumer live. Okay, customer is going to consume that data. The same vice versa. We have done CI/CD pipeline, right? Now we need to do the infra pipelines. So infra pipeline, there is a two steps is there. Step number one is validation. Step number one is deployment. Okay. In the step number one, AWS lint, AWS nag, and AWS valid. These three things we need to do. Okay. Linting we need to do. There is a SAST scan is happening in nag. There is a validation syntax is there, it will do the validation. After that, AWS deployment is happening. So it will be deploy that your CFTs in a corresponding AWS dev account. Okay. So it will creating the cloud formation templates. After the help of cloud formation template, it will create the AWS resources. Okay. AWS resources like CFT, API gateway, Route 53, roles, KMS, and logs, miscellaneous things we need to do. Okay, so just understand how the workflow is I have scheduled. So in the CA pipeline we need to do Maven build, Docker build, and Docker push to queue. Okay, in the CD pipeline, so we will do helm valid, helm deploy to zosa dev cluster. So once dev is done, we need to review to JSC team for feasibility. We need to submit the sashed and dashed scan results for code and image and infra. Okay. So these sashed and dashed result will be you can able to see in this step. So AWS NAG, there is a NAG, it will do sashed and dashed results. For code, there is a separate service is there in GitLab CI. vulnerabilities report that will be generating the reports that is going to be submit to the GRC team, GRP team. GRP is nothing but governance, uh, GRC. Yeah, I will tell you. Somewhere I have written. Yeah, GRC, not GRP. Governance, Risk and Corporate Team. Okay. Once they will approve, so we need to move to SI. In the same way, same they will approve. They are going to deploy in prod. In the infra pipeline also, once they will once you are going AWS Lint and NAG and AWS validation, we need to deploy resource in AWS Dev SI prod account. Okay. This is the DevOps architecture. Next, moving forward, we have a AWS architecture. We have a public API, we have a Route 53, and we have a ROSA NLP and ROSA cluster, and we have a main S3 bucket. We have a KMS keys. Okay. So how written the pipeline is. So first of all, we need to create a S3 bucket. In the S3 bucket, we need to store the Swagger bucket. Okay, Swagger file will create the API gateway. Okay, so this API gateway having a KMS key to connect with S3 bucket, and this API gateway having a DNS record in Route 53. This Route 53 private endpoint is having some endpoint that will be written in the main application. So whenever they are hitting slash valid, then so DNS is recognized and it will be point outing this Route 53 is pointing to API gateway DNS name. Then DSNM name will be routing to ROSA English NLB, from ROSA English NLB to ROSA OpenShift cluster. From like this, you can able to access your application. Okay, this is the entire flow of your AWS architecture. Same thing I have mentioned here. Okay, so in the upcoming demo session, I will going to show explain you detailing. Okay, let's move forward to the let's move and check the pipelines. How to create the pipelines, how to deploy your application in a ROSA cluster, how to deploy the AWS infra pipeline. Okay, okay. Let's see demo session in next video.